And we are live. Welcome, mystery and thriller fans. I'm your on-air host, Sara DiVello, and I am so excited to present you this sizzling Memorial Day lineup, kicking off with debut author Emma Bamford, live from England, here to tell us about her debut book, racking up all the praise, Deepwater. Emma, welcome to Mystery and Thriller Mavens. Tell us about this book.
Hi, Sarah. Thanks so much for having me. Hi, everybody who's watching and listening from the UK. So Deepwater is my debut novel, and it's a thriller. And my agent very kindly describes it as if Daphne du Maurier had written The Beach. And it is a tropical island, perfect kind of summer holiday reading. Well, that's what I was aiming for when I wrote the book. And it tells the tale of Virginie and Jake. They're a British couple, they're married, and they hear of a beautiful paradise island, a really remote island in the middle of the Indian Ocean. It's 2,000 miles from anywhere, and you can only get there by private boat. And they hear it's like this amazing place, and you can go and you can stay there for several months and have an adventure. And so they decide that's what they're going to do, and they invest all of their life savings in a sailboat. And they set off for this island of Amarante. And then when they get there, they discover that paradise, as they think of it, is not exactly as it seems.
Ooh, I'm frozen. Whoa, what is happening with my camera? Okay, that was very bizarre because I'm plugged into an Ethernet, so I have a hardwired connection. I don't know what just happened here, but very mysterious, very on brand. So I am here for it. Emma, Daphne du Maurier, if she had written The Beach, what a perfect description. And we can't wait to get into every delicious detail. But first, I just want to welcome everyone. So we are broadcasting live to 6 different destinations across Facebook and YouTube. So hey friends, mystery and thriller lovers, no matter where you're watching from, you're in the right place. This is the right time. You know the drill. Every Monday for hashtag Mystery Monday, because you know Mondays can be murder. I give you my handpicked features authors and you get to ask them anything. So let's get right into it. Catch a clue. Welcome to the conversation. Hey Wendy, always good to see you. She says, hi Sarah and Emma. Wendy, welcome. Always a pleasure to see your name pop up. Anissa says, hello Sarah and Emma from South Carolina. I can't wait to hear more about this debut. I love me a debut. Anissa, preach, girl. I'm here for it. She says, wow. Now, Anissa, you're a librarian, so I know you love a debut as much as I do. Emma, tell us what your process has been like writing this. So for those who don't know, Emma was a journalist, and then she left her cubicle for the open seas. So she's writing from some personal experience. Tell us about the process of writing this book, Emma.
Yeah, you're right. I was working as a newspaper journalist in London for many years. And about 10 years ago, I kind of felt I'm in a bit of a rut and I wanted to mix things up. So I did this crazy thing and I answered an advert on the internet for Crew Wanted. And then I quit my job. I rented out my flat. I sold my car and I bought a one-way ticket to Borneo to live on a boat with a man I had never met. And then I had all these crazy adventures sailing around Southeast Asia on yachts and exploring all these beautiful islands and going to really remote places. So I spent about 2 or 3 years living and working on boats in Southeast Asia, the Caribbean, actually set sail from Texas on one of our trips from Kima, and the Mediterranean as well. So I traveled around all these places. And obviously had a whale of a time, swimming with turtles, seeing wild pygmy elephants, enjoying the sunset on beaches where there were no other people. And when I was away doing that, I'd be in these, immensely beautiful islands, and I'd think, oh, paradise, I'd start to think about what it meant, why we're all drawn to go to these places, what it is about these white sandy beaches and warm clear waters that makes us want to go there, and also about what would happen if something went wrong when you were in a remote place like not for example in a hotel, but when you're on a boat and you're completely self-sufficient, and if you ran out of power or you lost communications or something went wrong with your boat, how quickly that could escalate and get you get you into trouble. And I thought the putting those two things side by side, the perfect paradise, and then quickly things could go wrong, could make a really, interesting story, and hopefully a good thriller too.
Yes, that is fascinating and also terrifying. So, in the course of Mystery and Thriller Mavens, I hosted an author from Australia who she and her husband quit their jobs, packed up their 4 kids, got on a boat, and decided to sail around the world. And at one point, one of them sustained a broken bone, but they were a 4-day sail from the nearest country and hospital. And I said I think that's one of my worst fears, is to be injured and alone and out in the middle of nowhere, which is exactly how your book opens. So Virginie is, well, first you open actually not with her perspective, but with the captain of the naval ships sailing around. He hears Mayday, Mayday from the Santa Maria. She's been calling for help for 2 days. And I think that's sort of one of my biggest fears, probably one of all of our biggest fears, right? To be marooned, to be injured. She's actually okay, physically okay. Mentally, we're not sure. Her husband bleeding profusely. I mean, it's so scary to not have access to a hospital, to medical care, to, there's just miles of empty ocean for as far as the eye could see. I mean, were you scared of that when you moved to Borneo? Did you think about that, or did you only think of it when you got out there?
I was lucky in that I didn't have any personal injuries, but we did have problems with the boat. And at one point we were in, there's a chain of islands called the Andaman Islands, and they're off the coast of Thailand. They belong to India. And you can get, a bit like with Amarante, you can get a license and you're allowed to be there and explore for a certain amount of time. And there were 6 of us on a boat, and we off we went, and we had to sail 4 days to get there. And then we had a plan to sail around. And 2 things happened. Number one was that there were going to be no shops or anywhere that we could get water, and it wasn't due to rain. So we had to ration how much water per person. And it came down to something like 1.5 or 2 liters of water a day per person. And that's for drinking, for washing, and for cooking and eating with.
That's not much.
No, it's not at all. We were lucky. A storm came in, a brief rainstorm, so we all took our shower gel outside and our shampoo and lathered up in the rain and washed it off. And the other thing was that we lost one of the rudders of the boat, which, if that's how you steer a boat, that's the equivalent of losing the steering wheel from your car. And imagine if you need to get somewhere and your steering wheel comes off, like in a cartoon, like in Wacky Races or something. But very fortunate for us, we were in a catamaran, which has 2 hulls and therefore has 2 rudders. So we were able to steer the boat back to the port and get a new one fabricated. But if we'd been in a yacht like Wayfinder, which is Jake and Virginie's boat in Deepwater, and that had happened to us, then I don't know what the outcome would have been in that case.
So why did that just happens? The steering wheel just falls off. I mean, you're just out there, just, getting batted around by the waves, hoping someone hears your Mayday, call. It's so scary to be alone, I think.
Yeah. I watched that film Adrift recently. I don't know if you've seen that, or that's based on the story of a woman who was sailing with her boyfriend, and their yacht was hit by a wave and it was turned over and very badly damaged. And she had to kind of half sail, something like 500 miles to Hawaii. And she had no communications, no electricity. And that's a true story. And eventually she was seen by a ship and rescued and lived to tell the tale and write a book about it as well.
Yeah. I mean, I wonder how many people don't live to tell the tale, and we just never hear from them again,
No, I know. It's really sad to think about that. Yeah.
Leisha, welcome to the conversation, saying hi. Sorry, a little late. You're just on time, girl. Welcome to the conversation. So good to have you here. Leisha is joining us live from Texas. Leisha, welcome to the conversation. So Emma, this book is getting great praise. So let's kick off with AJ Finn, who is, of course, the New York Times bestselling author of The Woman in the Window. And he raves that this is a mirage of a novel, seductive and slippery. Turn a page, you'll turn them fast, and the story shimmering before you might shape shift. Now it's a game of domestic cat and mouse. Now it's a merciless survival narrative. Now a feat of literary suspense. Above all, though, Emma Bamford's Deepwater, also the title of an early work by Patricia Highsmith, is that most exciting, most evolved species of psychological thrillers, one in which the darkest dangers lurk not in the next room, not even in the ocean depths, but in a suspicious and guilty heart. Let's talk about that rave review. First of all, congratulations.
Thank you.
What do you think the secret is to writing, quote, a mirage of a story?
I was really pleased when AJ Finn used that word actually in his review, because it is a mirage is something that I mentioned a couple of times in the book. So he was really paying attention. He was really doing his homework when he read it. I think sometimes when people say to me that I've written a thriller, I think, oh, have I written a thriller, or have I written a love story, or have I written a survival story? It's definitely a mix of lots of things. And I think when I started to write Deepwater, I didn't have a goal. I didn't say, I'm going to write this kind of book. I just had an idea of a situation, this couple and this remote island, and the fact that they were going to sail there and then things were going to go wrong. And that was kind of all that I knew. I didn't know who the other characters were going to be. I didn't know who was going to be the baddie, who was going to survive or not survive. And so I just kind of let the story lead me and let these characters, I just followed them around the island. I got on the boat with them and I sailed across the Indian Ocean with them, and I got to the island and yeah, just saw what happened. And then obviously had to do my my duty as a writer, and then trying to craft a story with a structure, proper book structure around that afterwards.
What, if anything, surprised you the most in the writing or publishing process of this book, Emma?
Surprised me. This is a really silly thing, but obviously I'm British, so I write in British English. And my editors are American and they're based in New York. So they sent me this really long list of words. Like everyone knows things like, like colour has a U in the UK in British English and doesn't in American English. But there's really long list of all these words and phrases that are different in the two languages. And it's really interesting.
Interesting.
Yeah, we think we're speaking the same language, but actually there are all these really small differences in there. And you need to pay attention to that, because an American reader isn't necessarily going to understand an extremely British reference. So yeah, you have to think about that and work with the experts in the American English language.
Yes, exactly. Following it A to Z or A to Z, as you would say in England. Emma, AJ Finn's not the only one raving. So we'll kick off. We kicked off with an American writer, Mr. Finn. Now we'll kick over to the queen of the psychological thriller, also a British writer, Ruth Ware, who's been on the show 3 times. And she says, strap on your life vests and prepare for, let me just pull this right up. Strap on your life vest and prepare for a tense maritime nightmare. Paradise never felt so sinister. And she has written her own boat-based book, The Woman in Cabin 10, of course, which was absolutely amazing. So along the publishing process, did you learn anything about how to increase that tension, how to ratchet it up from a simmer to a full boil, just keeping us on the edge of our seats?
Yeah, definitely. So if you'd seen the first, well, not even the first draft, like the first 3 drafts of Deepwater, they wouldn't be. They're not this book, and I don't think they would have been published. But I joined writing groups, and I went back to university and did a master's degree in creative writing. And I took on board all the advice that everybody was giving me. I was really lucky that at the university where I was doing my master's degree, they have a special crime and thriller course there. And so that really helped me think about pacing and tension and how to structure things. So you've mentioned
Sophie Hannah teaches there, doesn't she?
She teaches at Cambridge, which isn't very far away, actually. Yeah.
She teaches in their mystery and thriller course.
Yeah.
She's been on the show. I love her as well. She's another amazing British writer.
Yeah, she is, and really generous with her time, and seems really lovely and really upbeat. Like, yeah, really, really nice woman. Yeah. Yes. So the book. So when I explained the book to you earlier, I said it was about Jake and Virginie on this island. But actually, when you open the book, and you mentioned on the first page, it's told from the perspective of Malaysian captain on a Navy vessel that's patrolling the ocean. So the reason that it opens with him is he finds these people. He finds this badly injured man, this traumatized woman. They're on a boat. They don't seem to be Jake's unconscious, but Virginie doesn't seem to be able to articulate what's happened. And there are things that don't add up. So he's kind of a bit like the reader. It's like if you throw the reader into it, there's immediately a mystery that he needs to solve, because he's going to have to make a report. And he has, a very injured man on his boat, and he's going to take them on. So he needs on to safety and a hospital. So he needs to find out what's happened. So I sort of created him so that to bring the reader into that idea of something's happened, but we don't know what. And then you jump back and you slowly start to learn everything that had happened on the island to get the couple to this point where they're rescued by this captain.
A fascinating and unique take. Alicia saying congratulations on this new release, Emma Bamford. She says the book cover looks very intriguing. She'd like to know if you got to help to design and pick your book cover. It is beautiful. And I just want to bring it in here closer, because you can see that this looks like a wave, but it's also more like the paper is torn with the two stories. I extrapolated artistically to mean. So tell us, did you get to be involved, Emma?
I was sent the concept, but honestly, when I opened it, and you get an email and then there's a little attachment file, and then you click on the attachment file and then it opens and it's on your computer, like full size. And I gasped because I thought, it's just so beautiful. And every time I look at it, I see like how clever it is. There's the two different colors of the water. There's shallower water on one side, which is more greeny, and then the darker water on the other side, which obviously fits with Deepwater. You're right, there is like a tear. And that's a tear, could stand for a tear in their expectations, the expectations of what this trip's going to be, and maybe the reality, or the two different perspectives. Like there are so many angles for it. The one you've got is the proof. So this is the hardback, which goes on sale tomorrow. I don't know if you can pick that up, but this has like an opalescent finish to it, which is really fitting. And then they did this really beautiful map.
Oh, cool.
So they've brought the island to life, which is amazing.
Oh, I love that. Anissa chiming in saying, absolutely gorgeous cover. Yes, we are loving this cover, Emma, and I will be the first to confess, I am a shallow reader and not a Deepwater, but I am a shallow reader, and I will judge a book by its cover, and this one is just absolutely gorgeous. Leisha says, thanks so much for answering her question. Anissa would like to know, good question, Anissa, who was the toughest character to write and why?
That's a really good question.
Oh, Anissa always has great questions. Oh my God, I wonder, all our mystery and thriller lovers do. I love my people.
They like to put us through our paces. There is a character called Teresa, and she's a minor character. And Teresa went through a lot of different iterations in order to become the character that she does. So she's a very watchful woman, and she's very quiet. So it was quite difficult, if you're not writing from her point of view, for me to get across that she is in the scenes, but she doesn't speak much because she is more of an introvert. But she's very intelligent, very clever, and she's just kind of watching and assessing the situation. So when she does speak, it really means something, and well, I hope, and it you know, she's thoughtful with what she's saying. So she was probably the most challenging for me, just because it took me a while to get her right. One character that was quite easy to write was the dog, Gus. I just had his personality right from the start, and yeah, he's a really sweet character to have on the island. So there are 7 people on Amarante and 1 dog, Gus.
Oh my goodness. I love that the dog was the easiest character to write. That is hilarious. And as a dog lover, I am happy to hear that the dog went smoothly for you. Loving this conversation. Ooh, okay, cool. Oh my gosh, I love all these questions. Okay, Leisha would like to know, as you're writing these characters, Emma, do you hear the characters talk to you? You said you were following them around on the island. So were they talking to you? And if they do, did you have to change something in the story because of it? Cool question, Leisha.
Yeah, your characters really do come to, well, for me, they come to life in my head. So I do early on in the process, I kind of quiz them. So I'll have a you sound like a crazy person. Kind of have a chat with them, and I write down their answers in their voice. So it could be like, oh, where did you go to school? What's your favorite food? What's your earliest memory? You know, all kinds of stuff that you might small talk that you might ask somebody when you're getting to know them. And then through that process, and then through the process of writing them down on the computer when I get to typing, they do change because they do unexpected things. They might get into an argument or into a fight that I hadn't planned. They might do something really lovely. There's a scene in Deepwater where there's a tiny bit of a flashback to before Jake and Virginie have left the UK, and it's early on in their relationship. And Jake's a boat builder by trade, so he knows the sea, and he's really fascinated in all the kind of lore around the sea. And Virginie works in a museum, in a maritime museum, and that's how they met. And they're early on in their relationship, and Jake takes a pen and he goes on her arm where she's got freckles, and he joins the dots of the freckles in the shapes of different constellations, but he makes them up. Like, he knows real ones, but he makes up silly ones. Like, he jokes, I think one's like the bug-eyed goldfish and the massive saucepan or something like that. And then when they get to the island, and I didn't plan this, but they're having like a romantic moment, and he pulls her towards the shallow water, and they're standing with the shallow waves lapping against their ankles, and he points up at the sky, and at first she doesn't realize what it is he's trying to show her. She knows he's trying to show her something, and then she realizes that one of the constellations that they can see in the sky at that moment is one that he'd drawn on her body, and it was kind of like a symbol for their relationship. So that kind of stuff, like, I don't have a list of things like that I'm going to write into the book. That just comes, and that just comes from spending time with these characters on the page.
I love that. Anissa would like to know, do you have any plans to make this a series?
No. I did have a crazy plan that it might be quite cool to have Captain Daniel Tenku go off on various adventures, like a freelance maritime mystery solver going all over the world, helping out different places. But at the moment, that's just a wild idea. Maybe I'll come back to it. I don't know. But at the moment, no, I don't have a plan to make it a series.
Excellent. So, Anissa also saying that she loves that Gus the dog is stealing the show. Yes, and the easiest character to write. I love that too, Anissa. Thank you. Leisha saying she loves your answer about how you work with your characters and how they evolve for you. And she says, thanks again for answering. Oh my gosh, that's what we're here for. You get to talk to your favorite authors, meet your next favorite authors, connect with all the coolest debuts, the rising stars. Here she is, Emma Bamford. Let's get back to some of the other amazing praise that this book has earned. B.A. Paris, another incredible British writer who's also been on the show here, raving that, this is an incredible debut and an incredible writer. an incredible thriller. You will be talking, I'm going to pop this up, about Deepwater to everyone you know. I loved it. So high praise there from another, reigning queen of psychological thrillers. Congratulations on that amazing praise, Emma. Did you make a dream list of all of the people that you would love to have blurb it, or did the publisher take care of that for you? Were you surprised when you kept getting all these amazing reviews, or did you reach out to them? How did it work?
Yeah, I was massively surprised. So the AJ Finn quote came in really early, like even before we got the book to proof stage. And I cried when that came in because it was so unexpected. And I was asked to write a list of writers to approach, but I'm not shy, but I'm not, I don't know, I felt embarrassed about putting myself out there. So I thought, well, I don't know these people. Like, why would they read my book? But luckily the amazing team at Scout Press and at my agency, Darley Anderson, they know all the best people, and they sent it out. And yeah, I'm just really grateful to those writers that took the time to read and respond, because they're super, super busy. I mean, imagine how busy Ruth Ware is, or Lee Child, and yet, yeah, they read my debut. It's really kind. So thank you if any of them are listening or watching. So thank you very much.
Speaking of Lee Child, who's also been on the show, let's hop over to his rave review, saying that it was powered from page 1 by a subtle, ominous drumbeat of tension. I love that because it's so visceral. He goes on to say, you know that something bad is going to happen, but not where, when, how, or why until wow. I loved this book. Congratulations on that rave review from Lee Child. I'm popping that in the comments so that everyone can read it in their own time. But I love that he honed in on those elements of it. And Nisa saying, yes, the writing world is so amazing. And I would have to second that. So especially the mystery world, so incredibly generous. And supportive of other authors. And that really surprised me, and in the best possible way, I think, when I started seeing all of the support that the authors lend to each other. Y'all, we have 2 minutes left. So any questions, get them going. I think we can handle at least 1 or 2 more. So get your little fingers flying over the keys if you have any questions from Emma Bamford. Meanwhile, I am going to pop in the link to the hardcover of Deepwater. It's out tomorrow, everybody. It's out tomorrow. So grab your copy today. I'm going to pop it in right here, and you can just click over and order it from our favorite woman-owned bookstore. Grab it. They'll ship it out to you when it drops tomorrow, and you too can feast your eyes and ears on this drum beat. So says the incredible Lee Child. While everyone's typing their last questions, I just want to also share the review from Publishers Weekly, because Emma, you earned a starred review. Congratulations. PW raving that this is, quote, an outstanding debut. So I love that. I'm popping that in the comments for everyone to enjoy as well. Anissa saying, happy early pub day. And she has a question. She'd like to know, do you have anything special planned for tomorrow? Yeah. How are you celebrating, Emma?
I'm going out for dinner with my partner and my best friend.
Yeah. Yay. Will it be on a boat?
No, it's going to be in a restaurant, sadly. But there'll be champagne, and we're going for Turkish food. So hopefully some really delicious goodies to eat as well.
Yum. I love Turkish food. Alicia, getting her last question in just under the wires, would like to, great question. How long did it take you to write Deepwater?
Well, I first had the idea a long time ago when I was living on the boat, so probably 10 years, but I put it aside.
Mm-hmm.
I finished it. So I probably started in 2016. I finished it in 2020. Well, I finished a draft to send off to agents. And then we've spent a year and a half working on it with Scout Press since then to get it ready for publication.
So you first had the idea 10 years ago. Then how long did it take you to do the draft?
Probably 4 years, but I probably did 7 or 8 drafts in that time, and I was working and then studying as well.
Excellent, excellent. And then in a year and a half to revise. George Beach, welcome to the conversation, sir. Always a pleasure to see you pop up. He is saying, quoted from something on Goodreads, she had a fairly normal life to begin with. He's wondering if you'd care to expound a bit.
So that's from a very early bio that I wrote in 2014 when my first nonfiction book came out. And that was just me saying, normal life, family, based on land, having a job, that kind of stuff, before I did the crazy thing of answering the ad on the internet and going off to Borneo to get on this boat with this man I'd never met.
Yeah, because Emma, it sounds like you saved up all of your adventuring. Like you were just, you were gathering the energy, maybe, because I don't know anyone crazy enough to answer an online ad, pack your bags, sublease your flat or apartment, as we'd say here, and move to Borneo to work on a ship. I mean, had you ever been on a boat before?
Yeah. I had learned how to sail. Yeah.
Okay.
But I'd never been anywhere as remote as that or done anything as crazy as that. No.
It's so incredibly crazy and so incredibly brave and bold. I mean, you're sitting here as such a calm, I mean, lovely looking normal person. I would never guess that you would be searching online ads late at night for ways to move to Borneo. I don't know anyone that brave. You're amazing. You're so cool. I absolutely love that. Oh, one more question from Wendy. Oh my God, she said, Emma, you could have wound up in a true crime novel. Yes, Emma, we could be reading about you. Did that occur to you? Were you scared, or were you just packing your bags and heading to Borneo?
Well, almost every single one of my family and friends said either, how do you know he's not an axe murderer, or have you seen the film Dead Calm, which didn't fill me with the most confidence. But I had a Skype call with the owner of the boat before I went out there, and I said to him, are you an axe murderer? And he said no. So I thought, okay, then that's fine.
Right, because an axe murderer would never lie about that. I mean, we all know that they're very honest people.
Yes.
Oh my gosh. Okay, henceforth, Emma Bamford, bravest person we all know. Wendy, what a great comment. So true. We could have been listening to a podcast, and then Emma Bamford boarded the boat and was never seen again, but thank God she was. Oh my God, Alicia would like to know, how long did you live on the boat?
I spent about 2 or 3 years living on boats, but not just one boat. I think I lived on maybe 5 in total.
Wow. Oh my God, that's so brave. I get horribly seasick, so I could never do it. So I think I'm even more in awe that you could do this. Anissa saying, thank you, ladies. Amazing chat as always. You are lovely, Emma. I totally agree. Leisha saying, you are so very brave, Emma. George saying, too funny. Anissa saying, no axe murderer would ever lie. Anissa, we know that to be true, right? She's laughing out loud. Y'all, what a perfect note to end on. Don't forget to pre-order. I'll pop that link in the comments one more time. Thank you for joining us for this sizzling Memorial Day lineup. I'll be back at 8 p.m. Eastern, 7 p.m. Central with Hannah Mary McKinnon. So go get your beach time in now and hop back on at 8/7. I'll see you then. Emma, thank you so much for joining us live from the UK. Please come back when your next book is out.
Love to. Thanks so much for having me, Sarah, and Murdered by the Book as well.
Oh, yay. Thank you. All right, everybody, have a great day. I'll see you soon.